What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday, BobbyFi. I'm going to be bringing you BobbyFi 5 plays in 5 minutes. We are going to probably talk about more than just 5 plays during this segment, but it's something we'll be doing again every day. And I'll talk about my favorite 5 plays in the slate, maybe chalky, maybe not. And we're going to go through it every day. And with that said, let's get it started real quick. And I'm going to give you guys one pitcher tonight. It's not going to be that far off the board, but Corbin Burnes has pretty clearly been one of the best, if not the best, fantasy pitchers in baseball. You can just see from his game log, every game over 30 fantasy points so far. He gets Miami coming to town with the lowest run total on the slate. There's pretty much, it's hard for me to fade him on DraftKings today. So Corbin Burnes, clearly the best pitcher with the highest upside. I do think you can get into pivots with Urias, maybe play both of them together. And then you're going to have the Trevor Rogers in the same game against a pretty high strikeout Milwaukee team. Trevor Rogers also been really good so far this year, had some good matchups so far as well. But high K rate, I think the kind of guy that we want to use in tournaments and in cash games. Both those guys make the most sense to me. Urias would be my next guy who I'd be using at first glance. As far as the hitting goes, what you want to do for value, I think, is try and use the cheap Yankees. Aaron Hicks is one that stands out if he's in 3,300. He's actually been swinging the bat a little bit better, homeward the last couple games. Same thing with Rougned Odor, assuming, of course, that he gets in the lineup, which I think he will, no question here. No matter where he is in the lineup, I have some interest just in the power upside, as I will be stacking the Yankees. The Yankees are, at first glance, my favorite stack on the slate. I'm surprised the run total is only just over 5. I think it could easily be up to 6 in this one. I know the Yankees have been hit or miss, but those are the two guys I'd be using for value. That's not even one of my main plays. The real play I'd be using from there is Stanton. I think that he still is under 5K, too cheap. Obviously, he's been heating up, had a 2 home run game the other night, hit the ball hard a couple times against Cleveland over the last couple of days, even though it didn't work out well. 5 home runs still on the year, even though he's been struggling. I think that in this matchup against Harvey, it's hard not to love Giancarlo Stanton. So he's actually my favorite Yankee on the board, but I'm going to recommend some other players that are a little bit pricey. So with that, I wanted to mention Odor and Hicks because I think there are ways that you can save and spend down. I also wanted to mention as a one-off play or even as a part of a stack, I mean, Houston makes a lot of sense against Sheffield. Bregman stands out the most. Bregman obviously has swung the bat well, but more importantly for his career, he's got a 280 ISO against lefties. The last full season that was played back in 2019, he had a 393 ISO his last full season against lefties. So that's not a huge sample size. And I think that Bregman is one of the best plays of the game of the night against Sheffield, and somebody I will be looking to in tournaments. And I think you could use in cash games as well. Again, it's hard to get all the Yankees and him in, but he's one of my favorite plays in the slate with the splits in his favor, and one of the best overall plays in the slate. Next, we have a guy who I recommend all the time, Corey Seager. I do think Molly has been really good this year, and I've played him quite a bit, and I think he's got good stuff. But I like going for the low-owned Seager here. He's hit the ball a lot harder than his numbers would show. He's actually been sort of on the wrong side of variance. There's so many balls that he's smoked right at people in some really big spots. So I think that he's a guy who might be a little bit lower owned tonight because of the expensive Yankees and everybody else we want to play. So Corey Seager against Molly, who, by the way, Molly allowed about 3 home runs per 9 his last full season in 2019. Only pitched 47 innings last year, but I think that we can try and use the larger overall sample size and realize that Corey Seager against a righty at home is pretty much money in the bank usually. Molly, obviously a good pitcher, but I do think Seager allows you to get a little bit different and is currently my favorite shortstop on the slate, especially when you factor in ownership and things like that. The other guy I'm going to mention is not going to be anything way off the board, but if you can afford him, if you can find a way to get him in, it's pretty just clear. I mean, Ronald Lacuna is the best play on every slate. The stolen base power upside is a little bit too much to ignore. And he's been actually hitting the ball too much to where he even hasn't been running as much because he's basically just too much power. But obviously the highest scoring fantasy point player per game on the slate in the game, the best fantasy point producer that we're going to have this year, in my opinion. So if you can get Acuna in anytime, it's going to make sense. But Davies, you got the reverse splits in Atlanta. I want some exposure to that Atlanta game if I can get it. They would be one of the top 3 stacks for me, along with Houston and the Yankees today. So I would love to get some Acuna. Again, it's going to be tough, but maybe you could play the cheap Yankees, use Acuna as a one-off, or maybe get a little mini Brave stack to go with the Yankees 4-man or something like that. Just my early thoughts. Guys, we're going to be doing these every day, but we'll be including, a lot more graphics and stuff as we go along. For right now, it's just going to be pretty basic, simple information. We want to get these out to you, and we want to get you the best plays. For everyone out there, good luck tonight, and we'll keep doing the BobbyFi 5 and 5. And yeah, give us your thoughts. Drop in anything on the YouTube channel or in Discord, and we're going to make this as easy for you as possible. Happy to answer any questions in there. And so I'm BobbyFi saying, here are my 5 plays in 5 minutes. Good luck to everybody. Hopefully they'll make us somebody tonight.